England's 55-year wait to reach a major final is finally over after a victory last night against Denmark in the semi-final of Euro 2020. Good morning and welcome to Gulf News Kicking Back. I'm Imran, and as ever, I'm joined by my guests Matt, Shamsir and Sahil. Okay, let's forget all about the transfer news and rumours because there's something far bigger to talk about. Let's get straight into it. England's 55-year wait to reach a major final is finally over after a victory last night against Denmark in the semi-final of Euro 2020. Southgate side have gone one step further than the England any since 1966. I mean, no one remembers this anymore. It's black and white days. I mean, probably no one's ever even seen that. That was that World Cup final win against West Germany. But they had to come from behind against Denmark yesterday, who scored with a Damsgaard free kick. That was the first goal that England have conceded in the tournament. But then an own goal, I think the 11th or 12th of the tournament from Simon Kjær levelled it before Harry Kane scored a rebound after seeing his penalty saved by Schmeichel. Now, after so many years of pain and misery, England have the chance to win the title. But guys, there's only one place to start. You know, it's with the penalty. For me, it was never a penalty. I'll be the first to admit it. There didn't seem to be any contact on Sterling at all, but he went down. It was checked by VAR and it was given. And even though the officials and VAR has been really good up until now, I think they were just due one bad moment. But anyway, I'm glad it was given. But then Kane nearly messed it up. I mean, he had his shot saved, got the rebound in. But what do you guys think? Penalty or no?
Well, first of all, I think it was a penalty just by the silly rules that are there. He stepped across Sterling, made the slightest of touches with his shin, but his foot was there in front of where the ball was. And
which ball? Which ball? There was two balls as well.
Yeah. Instead, Sterling went over his leg. And obviously the guys upstairs says, well, Sterling's quite good at that, but yeah, it has to be given. Sterling's the master of getting those penalties. He does it all the time. Sometimes he gets a yellow card for trying too enthusiastically, but the number of times he's earned a penalty when the defender's just trying to do his job. So by the letter of the law, I think it was a penalty. By the passion of the game, it was never a penalty. But it was such a shame for Schmeichel, who's having an absolutely brilliant game. He saves the penalty, but it just unfortunately comes out, unfortunately for him, comes out to Kane, who didn't make any mistake from the second time. But it was a thrilling minute, like the game the night before with Italy and Spain. But England seemed to have more of an edge than Denmark did throughout the full 120 minutes, and so therefore they were well deserved of their win.
Penalty? I don't think that was a penalty, man. No way that was a penalty. You know, like what Matty mentioned, I can see the rules and everything, but you know, it has to be. But one rule is right. You know, like when VAR checked it, if it's not clear and obvious, they can't just overturn the decision. But there were like two balls on the pitch, man. What else you want to overturn it? That's absolutely ridiculous. I have to say that. You know, I have never seen anything like that in my life. You know, two balls on the pitch, and you're still giving that decision. Like, then why there is a technology? You know, like, yes, I can talk about England and how they deserve to go through and all, because they did more than Denmark in the game. But man, two balls on the pitch. I can't really comprehend that seriously, because you know, even Sterling, you know, when he was dribbling, he could see two balls there, and it could have conned the defender, because which ball he was going to take was that kind of a thing, you know, like seriously. And the ball was there for like almost 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And why there is a VAR? You know, like the first thing, you don't even need to check about the penalty. You know, like you can talk to the VAR official and you can see there are two balls on the pitch. finished, called off, game, restart again. But instead they were checking the penalty. They should have checked the 2-ball thing, like that's absolutely ridiculous. I don't even want to touch on the penalty thing. If you know the football enough, you can't have 2 balls on the pitch. That's absolutely ridiculous. But when it comes to England's performance, they did enough to go through. And Raheem Sterling was brilliant, and he conned everyone. That was he is a master at it, like diving. We have seen it many times. With feather touches, he'll fall down just like Bruno Fernandes, what we have seen. So for both Manchester clubs, they have two divers, and one has done wonders for England, and now they have reached the finals after like 55 years. So credit to them. And for Sterling, he has had a great tournament overall, and he has been their main man throughout the tournament. He scored all their goals in the group stages. He scored the opener against Germany. Then he played his part against Ukraine in the quarterfinals. Now in the semifinals, he did everything that he could. When the English fans were saying, even Sahil and Imran, that yesterday they just needed to go through by some means. I didn't think that by this means. this way was too much, man. But anyway, credit to them. But Denmark can keep their head high, especially that man Kasper Schmeichel. What a tournament he had. And the whole Danish team, they can just go home, keeping their head high, because it was such a pride thing for them, especially after the Eriksen incident. They did everything well for their country, and they did everything that they could to make their nation proud. And to go out on such a dubious decision, I would be feeling hard done by.
Come on, Sahil, you have to defend Sterling and Fernandes now.
First of all, I agree, it's not a penalty. I don't think the defender clipped him at all. He fell by himself. And I was also like, really? This is a penalty? I felt like the one where Harry Kane was dropped in the box. That was not given a penalty. It was instead given a foul to Denmark.
Good point.
So, I don't know what was happening yesterday, but I can completely understand what Shamsher is saying, like his frustration that Sterling has conned everyone. But yeah, it's not a penalty. I don't know from where they gave it. I cannot blame the referee because there were like foots everywhere. So I don't blame him for giving it at that time. But then there was a VAR check, and I'm not sure how it was given. But forget about that now. I mean, England are through, man. Who cares? I mean, Sterling, I'm going to be honest with you. Sterling, the first 60, 70 minutes was poor. That chance where Schmeichel saved him. Yes, a minute later, there was a goal. I think every England fan was irritated by that chance. Like, how did he not score that, man?
Absolutely right. I mean, yeah, people are giving credit to Schmeichel for making that save, but honestly, you have to score from there. There's no way that you should miss. And that's a really good point, by the way, about the Kane incident. That you're right. I thought that should have been a penalty. In fact, there was a couple of decisions that the officials got quite wrong yesterday. There was that Kane penalty, which wasn't given. The penalty that was given probably shouldn't have been given. A Maguire yellow card for just jumping up and catching.
Never a yellow card.
I mean, that was never a yellow. So, I mean, we have to give credit to the officials and VAR because on the whole, it's been, I got to say, tremendous. They've been really good. There hasn't been any major decisions that they've got badly wrong. I guess they were due one bad decision and one bad game. Unfortunately for Denmark, it came, at a crucial time yesterday in the semi-final. Overall they've been really good. But just moving back onto England's performance and Pickford, I want to talk about because like we've all been saying, like I've been saying a lot actually, I was expecting, a poor performance and some mistakes because, I mean, he does that all the time for Everton. It's not every, it's not just once every, 2 or 3 games. It's regularly. It's literally every game. He'll be a bad throw or a bad kick or something. But anyway, he broke a 55-year record for the most minutes without conceding a goal. He's up to 725 now. The previous best was Gordon Banks. 720. I mean, he was to fall for that free kick. It wasn't a great free kick at all. It was straight down the middle of the goal. And, he's got to be saving that. That wasn't nearly in the corner. I mean, it wasn't that hard. Okay, it went fast and it dipped. But I think Pickford should be saving that. And then after that, he made 2 really big mistakes. One with a throw, went straight to, I think it was Damsgaard, and a kick went, again, straight to one of the strikers. On any other day, that can lead to a goal. but he got away with it. But what did you make of his performance overall yesterday?
Yeah, I think that Pickford. If that's him got his blooper out the way, then it's a great sign for England. We knew it was coming at some point, but the with the free kick, maybe you're being a little bit harsh because it was coming in at some rate, but from the angle, it was difficult to tell just how much the wall was doing its job and whether it was just right in the right place. Maybe Pickford was unsighted, or maybe, as you said, maybe he was just a little bit slow and was left flapping. The comedy moment was obviously when he kicked it out and almost went out for a throw in. It went in the wrong direction. It was he didn't have his kicking boots on yesterday in that sense, and there seemed to be a little bit of nerves in more than one or two of the players yesterday. But I think it'll do them good to have got that out of their system, to know that they can again see it out. Crowd was there again to help them out. They know they'll be there to back them all the way against Italy on Sunday. It was. It wasn't quite one of the stellar performances from England, but it was a true team performance. They all seemed to have each other's backs. No, whenever somebody was feeling a bit down or if they had a mistake, the other guys were there, geeing them up, going, "Come on, forget about it. Let's get on with it." And I think that puts them in great stead for Sunday. I think that they're, they've got that semi-final hoodoo out the way. They managed to avoid penalties, which is always a good thing for England. And they feel slightly confident that they might go and do this now. And that means that we've got another thing for them to harp on about for the next 55 years.
It's not that long, but I think the players, they really made an impact when it really mattered. You know, apart from Kane's goal, he had a really good performance yesterday. It was full of energy. He used the ball really well. Sterling again, we touched on, he was superb. He's having a great tournament. That's continued. But I think Maguire gets special mention here. He was a rock at the back. He was a leader. He had another powerhouse performance. Who else stood out for you guys, for England and Denmark, in fact? Denmark had a really good game. They were unlucky.
Yeah, like you guys have mentioned, Maguire had a great game. He's having a great tournament also. Even for Manchester United, he was getting a lot of criticism. But when Maguire was missing from that back line, even Manchester United was struggling. So that shows that he is actually a good player. And he is a leader at the back. And people often talk about his price tag and everything, but he is a decent defender and he's doing his job for both the club and country. And you have to give him credit for that. And apart from Maguire, I think Calvin Phillips had a good game. He struggled in the beginning, but then he grown into the game and he was absolutely brilliant, especially in the second half. He just took control along with Declan Rice in that midfield. Then the special mention has to go to Damsgaard, and for just 21 years, he did a great job for the country in the whole tournament. And that free kick, yes, Pickford was at fault. Even I believe that, but there was a little bit swerve in the end, which could have conned Pickford, but the ball didn't do the job at all. That's a keeper's job to set the ball properly. So he was feeling nervous throughout the game. Actually, Pickford.
Yeah.
We could see that he was feeling so nervous, even in the extra time. The way that he was kicking the ball around when the English players were trying to keep the ball. When you give the ball back to Pickford, he was just trying to kick it out. So and we have to give a special mention to England for doing the match management brilliantly, especially in the extra time. We have given credit to Italy for doing that. England were doing that brilliantly. They were keeping the possession, they were running towards the corner flag. You could see one moment when Harry Kane got the ball in the box, and instead of trying to score, Kier did brilliantly in defense, but still, instead of trying to score the goal, he was just taking the ball for a round and going to the corner flag. That shows that these boys really want to win. And overall, a great game, great performance, and it was a team performance from England.
Sahil, who stood out for you between?
Honestly, like you mentioned, Maguire, Kane, but this guy, one guy that we've not mentioned yesterday, I feel like Kyle Walker was
Oh
outstanding.
yeah, yeah.
He
Yeah,
like he's got that raw pace. You guys have seen, the Danish players were trying to get the better, of him, but no, this guy just got the ball back again and again. And Kyle Walker was just outstanding for me yesterday. Like I was watching the game and I spotted him doing the dirty work for England. You know, so
he
I'm like
really,
very
yeah,
happy with his
he
performance.
saved England several times. Just with his pace alone, getting back to, to stop any attacks. But just giving Denmark a bit of credit here, they've had, following that the way the tournament started for them with Christian Eriksen's collapse in their very first game. They went on to become, I think, the neutrals' favourites with some really good displays after that. It was a disappointing night for them. Had they taken it to penalties, who knows what could have happened. But just sum them up. How good have they been in this whole tournament?
But before everyone goes to that, Walker had a great game, but it just doesn't justify his name actually. He's a runner. He's not a walker. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, Walker. I mean, even I think that the first early scare that England got, Walker just got back and almost barged the Danish boy off the ball and got the ball safely back to Pickford, and that just set the tone for him for the whole game. And sometimes for a defender, when it is an early scare, it's great to get that out of the way and just go, yeah, okay, now we know what we're doing, and we can get on with it. And then I think that really gave him a great confidence boost. The Danes have been a great, not even a footnote. They got the semi-finals, but a great side story to this. We know who's in the final. We know that they're now the Danes are now on their way home. There's no third place game in the Euros, which I think is a good thing because it's such a silly game, unlike in the World Cup and things. But they've been amazing to watch. It's not just the feel-good story or the little engine that could story. They've been well worth their wins. They've been brilliant all the way through. They've fully done the 92 team proud in the way that they've achieved everything against the adversity. And obviously they were, as you said, they're the neutrals' favourites in every match they had. But it's a shame they had to go out, but they were second best on the night, and there's no way in the world that they are not getting applauded off that plane when they go back home.
Definitely. I think some of those players, after the performance in this Euros, like Sampdoria's Damsgaard, Atlanta's Mele, all these guys will get a big move maybe because they have shown to the world that they are capable players and they can play for the big clubs. Obviously, Atlanta is a good club, but like for Mele, if he can get a move to the Premier League, it'll do a world of good for these guys. And even for the coach, like he came out, he wouldn't have been there if this Euro would have happened last year. So even he can take a lot of credit. And I have to give credit to Gareth Southgate, man. I have been one of his major critics, but now taking England to the finals, which like it happened only once in like five decades. So we have to give him credit, and whatever he has done was absolutely brilliant. Especially people were like slagging him off for taking Grealish off in the extra time, but I think that was a brilliant move. That was a bold move. Like he wanted to just keep the ball and finish the game off, and he brought in another defender. It all went well for him, and even his team selection yesterday. We were all calling for Grealish to start, but the player who started for him, Saka, had a great game. He had a great involvement in the first goal, in the equalizer that England scored. So we have to give him credit, and now let's see how they're going to perform against the Azuris in the final. And one man I have to mention, Chelsea player Mason Mount, had a great game.
Knew that was coming, eh? We knew that was coming.
Who had 32 minutes for the Chelsea mention?
Guys, I wanted to mention one point like about England. Now, you see like the likes of Lampard, Scholes, Gerrard, Beckham, Rooney. These guys never made it to any European final or World Cup final. But the likes of Rice, Phillips, Luke Shaw, Grealish, they have made it to a final. So there is something there. Like, what is the difference? Like these legends, they didn't do much for their country. Like, but these
Yeah,
guys
that's
made
true.
it.
I think I have told this yesterday in our review, preview, in fact, because these guys have that kind of a rapport between them. The other, those the names that you have mentioned, they had this animosity, the club animosity within them, and they were not able to perform or gel together. But these guys, they're all mates, like whether you play for United, you play for City, they're all mates, and they're all playing for pride and keeping the animosity aside. I think that could be one reason. And they had an easy route to the final. Like that is another thing. Even in the Euros, in the World Cup, they had a golden path towards the semi-finals. But this one, they had at least Germany in between. So I'm not taking any credit away from England. They have done the job. Whatever comes in your place, you have to beat them, and they have done that. And credit to them. Now the test is going to be real test.
And not just
I think
that,
what
you're right, the animosity and all that, that's debatable about how the camps have been. But Sahil, just going back to the point is, when you look at the other teams that have been around when those the players that you mentioned for England were around, France's team was so good then, Spain's team was so good then, Germany's team has always been so good. So, it's a shame, I would say, that those players, the Lampard, the Scholes, the Gerrards, the John Terrys, the Michael Owens, the Rooney's, all these really good players, unfortunately for them, they came at a time when there was just other far better teams playing at the same time. Matt, what are you going to say?
Good point.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, well, one factor for this year's team also has got to be Wembley. They've had all the games bar one at home. They've had the crowds getting bigger and bigger each time as well. So that home advantage had to be a factor. Only obviously Euro 96 was the same. But the other factor, I think, from the England teams gone by is there's no prima donna in this team. There's no there's no man like a Gascoigne or a Beckham that's strutting into the dressing room and everybody else stops talking and goes, "Oh, look, he's here," And there's been a lot of them that have been around before, and even that 96 team, there was more than one. And these guys, they're not going to let a team play as a unit, and this team plays as a unit, like the Italian team does. Then that's very important. That might be a very vital thing for the final. They're to a man, like I said earlier. They've got each other's backs. They're such a unity. I think Shamsir shared a video of that same unity with the Italian team after they won their semi-final. It's that is so crucial to football today. Is for all the star players, you can have a Ronaldo or a Lewandowski, but where are they? They're all back home.
Yeah, very
but the two teams that have had that out and out unity throughout the entire tournament, they're in the final, and that's got to stand for something.
Yeah, also one more thing to add on to that, there was always a debate about getting Frank Lampard, Gerrard, and Scholes in the one team. It was always a problem to get all three of them at the pitch at the same time. This England team doesn't have that problem. They have the right players at the like what Imran has mentioned earlier. Square pegs in the square holes. They all have that thing. It's not us trying to put a square peg in the round hole. So I think even that's why we are giving credit to Southgate for getting this team together and playing the football. Like yesterday I've mentioned, a player from Leeds United is patrolling that midfield for England. Who would have thought that to happen? So when the Liverpool captain is at the bench or sitting on the bench, so I think the credit has to go to the manager for getting the things right for England.
Yeah, I think the last, just coming to mind, the last Leeds player, anyway, for playing in midfield was probably David Batty, playing in the middle of the park there. Okay, but look, having been knocked out in the semi-finals at Italia 90, and then Euro 96, and then the 2018 World Cup, and now to finally get to the final. This is huge for the country, but they face, as we know, Italy in the final on Sunday. How do you think they need to approach that game?
Just do what they've been doing. Simple. They've got to the final of a major tournament having conceded only 1 goal. So don't change it. It's plain and simple. You know you've got those options on the bench. You saw Southgate was able to change it up again when things weren't quite going their way, and that bold move of bringing on Grealish and then taking him off again. You know, we were talking about maybe he's a bit scared to do what he wants to do and be a bit of a yes man at times. No, he's totally thrown that out of the water now. They've just got to do what they keep doing. They've got that confidence. They've got that unity that today's watchword, and they've got to just carry on from there. Hope we've got a visitor.
Yeah. For me, you know, like it's going to be a tricky game. It's going to be a cracker of a game at Wembley. You know, like Italy versus England. Wow, that's going to be brilliant to watch. And Italy just faced a Spanish team who was so very technical, and they almost lost that game. I'm not sure England are that technical like Spain. Like they were brilliant at keeping the ball in the middle of the park. If England want to win the game against Italy, like what Matty mentioned, they have to do the same thing, but also they have to do tactically little more, because to match Italy in the midfield like what Spain did, they'll have to rethink about their tactics and everything. And the crowd will be with England for sure. But like we have mentioned, Italy right from the beginning, they are in this tournament just to win it, and we could see the passion running through their veins. You can argue about the same with England. They are playing as a unit, so it's like two teams who are very passionate, who are playing as a team, who are having that thing to win it. Especially for England, after 55 years, getting into a major final, they will be all pumped up. The same for Italy, like they didn't play the World Cup last time, and they had to prove a point to everyone. They have someone like Chiellini and Bonucci. They might be playing their last tournament probably, or maybe they could drag on themselves towards the World Cup maybe. But there are some boys in that team, or some men in that Italian team, that just really want to win this, because it could be their last chance at a major trophy or something. And for England, it is the same thing. It's like young crop of players who can think really big, who can see the whole great things ahead. Maybe this is just the beginning of a golden era for England. So I know it's very difficult to call, but I've been calling for Italy right from the beginning, and I am not changing my mind for that. And I think Chiellini is going to lift the cup at Wembley, at the home of football, at the temple of football.
Sahil, do you think they need to change tactics for the Italy game?
I mean, I can't really comment on that because he's changed it up a lot. So maybe there will be 5 at the back. But I know for a fact, that they've broken that semi-final curse. They're going to come out fearless, England, and they're going to come out with that flair. Yes, it will not be easy to break that Bonucci and Chiellini dead block, but surely they're going to come out with full flair, England, and they're not going to be scared, because in the game against Denmark, they were scared. The first 30 minutes, they were looking very like they were playing with fear. And now that fear has to go away because it's a final. Both teams have everything to lose. So you got to play without fear. And I think England will do that for sure.
I think Kane is hitting form at the right time, along with Sterling. I think they can definitely cause problems for Bonucci and Chiellini at the back. It's got to be the best attacking team against the team with the best defensive record. It's got to be at Wembley again, as we know. The atmosphere is going to be electric again. I think we're in for a really good game. I'm going to stick my neck out and predict that we're going to win on penalties. Yeah, we're going to banish all the ghosts in this tournament. Shamsir's already said his. Matt and Sahil, predictions. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I'm going to go for home advantage. Thinking out loud. 2-1 England. Nervy late winner from Kane.
Yeah, one thing is there, Bonucci and Chiellini were really tested against Spain. They were showing their age actually against the pacey players. So England have got some great pacey players who can press from the beginning, from the front. Like Mason Mount, Saka, Sterling. All these guys can press from the front and give. They're all like pests. They can pester the Italian defense, who are actually showing their age. So every chance for England, but I'm going with Italy. I'm just going with Italy. I will be happy even if England win, because Mason Mount and Reece James and Bill Chilwell all will become European champions with the nations again. It'll be like double. And even if Italy wins, Jorginho and Emerson are going to be the European champions. It's all win-win for me.
I mean, come on. I'm going for come on, England's got to win. I think England's attack is way better than Italy. Yes, Chiesa has been in form. The last 2-3 games, Immobile has been really, really poor for Italy. So I'm going to go for England. Come on. 2-1 England. Let's go.
2-1 England. All right. So we've got 3 for England, 1 for Italy. I understand Shamsir's point exactly. I mean, if it wasn't England in the final, I would have wanted Italy to win as well. They've been brilliant. But obviously, got to support the boys, and hopefully they come good. Okay, that's all from us for today. As always, head to golfnews.com for all the latest news. We'll be back soon with another episode. We'll see you then.
Cheers, guys.